leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
Since we've primarily been focusing on painting the house, the inside has heavily gotten neglected. So we've spent the morning just hanging out with the dogs, playing with them, and just doing a little bit of tidying up. The mornings and afternoons are super cool while midday is very, very hot. Now that it's starting to warm up, we are going to start painting the house. I have the camera right here because you can't see it. You can't see the color. I'm gonna throw in some clips from last night when we tested it out because I didn't like it. And I wanna tell you about my opinions on it now, but I did not like the color whenever we first put it on the house. So here are the clips from last night.
Obviously, we're not going to paint the whole house with a 2-inch brush. I'm just doing a test spot right now. It's going to look like.
We wanted to see, since this side of the container is a lot darker than the front because they're two different colors obviously, and then we ended up having to do 2 different primers because the store was out. We wanted to see if it really made a difference whenever we put the paint on the container, and I'm not seeing one a whole bunch.
That's pretty consistent.
And if you're curious why we have single gallons, it's because Sherwin-Williams did not have a 5-gallon. They only had singles. So not supposed to be getting any rain, but man, the flies are freaking insane today. He's gonna give it a shot on the front of the house. I'd say it's pretty spot on. I said that I love it. And I do, I really do. I love the color, however, I wish I would have went a little bit darker, which is surprising to me because the color that I wanted to pick whenever I was showing y'all swatches was a lighter color, but it's gonna be okay. I think that once we get 2 coats on here, it'll be a lot darker.
Yeah, if we would have got the color you picked, it would have been a lot bluer.
A lot bluer, but yeah. She's a little too bright for my liking. Okay. It's a brand new day. I can see it in different lighting. I've had time to sleep on it and I like it. It's not as dark as I wanted it. I really wanted like a deep, 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 almost black midnight blue. But as Cody reminded me,
our house would be an oven.
Our house would be an oven. This is the next best thing, and yeah, I like it. I think she's really gonna look good with wood accents, full wraparound porch. She's pretty. Cody's gotten a majority of the back painted. We have not touched the front. I wanted to save the front for y'all. We're gonna do the front in the afternoon because the sun is about to hit directly on the containers. While Cody works on the surface, I'm gonna take a paintbrush and start working on all like the little detail and trim work. I don't know if I was supposed to paint that, but I did.
The dents are definitely the worst part. I feel like it's taking twice as long as I have to go around all these dents.
Thankfully, the front of the container has basically no dents, which is completely fine because back here is going to be covered and nobody's in the backyard. Like we said in the past video, it's going to be basically an area for our dogs, and this will eventually all be sided or either brick along the fireplace. So all the dents don't matter, but they definitely make it difficult to paint. So I'll just have to get the brush and go in there. So we ended up going with the Sherwin-Williams Pro Industrial DTM acrylic coating paint. So it's a DTM direct to metal paint. It's not like paint that you would paint on your walls. It's super, super thick, like it said, like a coating. And the color we went with was 7602 Indigo Batik. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. It's B-A-T-I-K. We had a ton of comments that were asking us why we use spray can versus like a spray gun primer or a paint on primer. Mostly efficiency, time. We could just run up to the store, pick that up versus not. And if you're curious how many cans we went through what, 12?
Yeah.
When we priced out the comparison, it was right around the same, maybe a little bit more, but there really wasn't much of a difference in terms of price.
And then the reason that we're rolling on the paint instead of spraying it is because we didn't want to have to deal with the extra power consumption that comes with running a compressor, and then the air is humid, so then we'd have to deal with water in the air for the compressor, and then we'd have to also get a new spray gun. We'd have to use a reducer in the paint to be able to spray it, and then thinning the paint out like that is going to make it less effective in the long run. So
we would have also had to pull out all of our windows.
and then we definitely would have had to do 2 coats.
Yeah.
And yeah, we would have had to tape a lot of stuff off. So we felt like rolling it on would have just been a lot easier and faster in the grand scheme of things. Actually only took 1 gallon of paint for the back of the house, so we may end up having enough paint left over to paint the storage building too.
We basically painted until we couldn't see anymore, and now we're starving from working all day. So Cody is doing the dishes for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. And I'm gonna make dinner. I'm trying to figure out how I want to cut these carrots. There's a lot of detail work that we need to do in terms of like around like the window trim and the electrical boxes and things like that, but it was just too dark to see, so I will work on all of that tomorrow. I felt like we got a lot done. So I just browned some deer meat that my parents brought from Texas, and then also added a ton of spices, and now I'm gonna add all of the veg. I have onions, tomato, parsley, and garlic that I sauteed and browned up before the meat, so I'm gonna add that in here. Look at this cute Pyrex my mom gave me. Fun fact, I'm collecting Pyrex now. It's my new hobby. I'm gonna add all of my raw vegetables, which is mushroom, carrots, jalapenos, potato, and celery. I'm gonna let all of that brown before I start adding my liquids. Add tomato juice. And these ones were in the fridge. Here's my Rotel, so we're gonna pop her off. There we go. She smells like Rotel, so plop her in. I'm completely out of homemade chicken broth, so I'm gonna have to add some store-bought beef broth, and then I'll probably do about 2 jars of water. Bring her to a boil, let her simmer for a little bit, and she'll be good to go. Do y'all see that?
I think it pretty much stopped. Well, we got a little rain shower there for a second,
Yeah.
and it definitely jacked the paint up a little bit.
Just a little bit in a couple
In
areas.
2 spots, so we'll have to go over that in the morning.
There's no rain in the forecast. Nothing.
I did this yesterday too.
Nothing. There's nothing.
Or the day before maybe.
I don't remember. There's nothing. I don't know. Cornbread going in. Let's see. I feel like we woke up and the leaves have just completely changed. I mean, just look at that around the pond. Holy cow. Look at that quality. Brand new day, brand new camera. It rained last night after we had painted, but I feel like for the most part, we were able to save it. It was really bad over here because the paint was fresh, but I feel like for the most part, I was able to fix the touch-ups. Cody got the gutters on, and now we are attaching some outdoor string lights. Those curls and that green head tell me that you are not a girl, unfortunately.
Brayden came over this morning and Cody forgot to tell me, which is not a big deal, but he also forgot himself, and so we were sleeping and we just heard somebody drive down our driveway. We have a really long driveway, we have a gate, you should not be down here unless we're expecting you, and we forgot. So jumped out of bed, freaked out, thought somebody was here. It's just Brayden.
If y'all don't remember, Brayden is Cody's little brother. Brayden's friend accidentally hit him, right? It was an accident?
Yeah.
It was an accident.
Yeah. From that rear quarter panel that was bended up, he hit a little less than, and his truck, it's probably a good foot lower than mine. His truck literally picked up my truck and set it back down.
This didn't have anything to do with Brayden getting in an accident, but we did have to replace the computer too. It's basically a stupid code that these Dodges end up getting that's like, if you get the code, the computer's bad. It's as simple as that. So we ended up getting that code, couldn't get rid of it, cleaned all the grounds, went through all the bull crap and couldn't fix it. So we ended up just replacing the computer. And then Brayden actually got the bed replaced himself with him and a couple of his friends. These are pretty easy to replace. It's what, 6 bolts I think it was to hold it on. Just right from underneath, it's got 6 bolts to hold it on, and then you got the tail lights that pop right out and the wiring for them. So it took what, probably about an hour. I think it was about an hour last time I pulled the bed off. That's a pretty easy fix, and luckily it all lined up nice. It was pretty bad before, like the whole bed was probably pushed up almost 6 inches in this corner, so we were really concerned about frame damage and a bent axle and all that good stuff, but actually it lined out pretty good. Y'all did a good job getting it back on there.
Thanks.
And then if y'all remember last time Braden was out here and we were working on the truck, we had to do a little bit of welding on the exhaust pipe wherever it broke. I guess in the accident somehow, it actually broke the exhaust pipe right next to where it was welded at. So all the welds are still intact, and then there's just one big crack around the pipe. So gonna weld it again, and hopefully it'll stay this time. That'll do.
On to the next project.
About 2.5 inches. These cabinets are bigger than we anticipated, but this cabinet comes out 2.5 inches farther than what the stove is.
The center.
So yeah, we need to move the stove like move 1.25 inches that way for it to be centered with the cabinet.
Which will help this entire situation because these drawers open up, but
It doesn't want to open all the way because the countertop is what holds the dishwasher in place, and since we don't have a counter in, the dishwasher kind of just wiggles itself down from the weight, since it basically just rests against the wall. Once we move the cabinet over a little bit, it should help that situation.
as y'all saw from the last clip, we will be focusing on our kitchen over the next few days. It's super important to have proper ventilation in your kitchen, and with winter coming and making a lot more stews and things like that, we really need to get a hood vent in the house.
Yeah,
So
I guess really not just the kitchen, but ventilation in general. So we're also going to be adding a fresh air intake for our fireplace. So that way the fireplace will be able to take outside air to be able to burn through the fireplace and expel through the chimney, rather than taking the inside air and burning it that way. Since our house is very airtight, it's very important for us to have that, opposed to your older wood frame houses naturally leak air. So that leaking air is what feeds the fireplace. Ours is airtight, so it can't do that.
So that's really what we're going to be focusing on in the next couple days. So finally some inside house work. I know that a lot of people have really wanted us to start focusing on the inside, and we feel a lot more comfortable going into winter now. We need to do those final little touches to really make sure the house is airtight, but also well ventilated, all in the same area, getting ready for winter. And as you can see, she is fully painted. We have the one side by the solar panels, which still needs to be done, but we have to weld on stairs and do a little bit of other things over there. So that's going to be an entire project in series on its own, adding the room underneath the stairs and all of that. So I don't even know if we're going to even paint it blue over there. I've kind of looked at wood and blue contrast, different things. So we might do some like detail work. Plus I also kind of want to keep the container feel since it's the doors. So that'll be an entire project on its own, which is why we really just didn't focus over there this week.
Yeah, but we do need to keep our batteries out of the cold, so that will be coming fairly soon.
Figure it's that time of day. Video is getting kind of long. Let's answer some questions, and then we got to go to Home Depot to get more supplies.
Yep, hood vent. Terry Willis says, is it a stupid question to ask about the roof? Are you going to prime it at least because of rust?
There's never any stupid questions. You can always ask any question, and we're happy to answer it.
But yes, I'm not sure exactly when, but probably here in the next couple weeks, we're gonna go pick up a gallon of white DTM, the same type of paint that we used for the house, but just white. That way we can keep the sun off the roof. And then we're gonna go ahead and strip all the loose paint and rust and all that stuff off the roof and get a coat of it. I really like how this paint covered everything up, so I think it'll be really good rust protection for everything.
We did spray paint the roof completely white, I want to say maybe like 6 or so months ago, just to
kind of help with the sun and everything. I want to make sure it's done the right way and it's properly protected from the
Yes.
element.
And in terms of like a pitched roof or things like that, we've played around with a few ideas. We don't know if we're going to stack containers. We don't know if we're going to put a room up there. We don't know if we're going to put like a bar up there or a tree house or something. There's endless possibilities. Thought about it all.
It'll probably be a project for next summer or spring.
Yeah, so, but I know that we've seen a few questions on that too. If I cannot pronounce last names, I'm just not going to anymore because I don't want to offend anybody. Travis says, Hi, new to the channel, watched all the videos, doing a great job. Would like to see a video of Jeeps and setups you all are running and what trails do you guys have around you. So we have cut a few trails behind the property, like in our acreage, and there's nothing like compared to rock crawling or anything like that we've done in the past, but it's definitely fun, especially when we have friends or our friends' kids out and things like that. We do enjoy rock crawling in Jeeps, and that's how we met, is through Jeeps. So I'm sure we will probably do a lot more of that gearing in towards winter, because it's more of a like fall winter activity. But if that is something that y'all are interested in seeing, that is a big part of our life and how we met. So we'll probably show a lot of that. And if you don't follow us on Instagram, you definitely should, because I post a lot more of that behind the scenes type content. A lot of the house every single day, but a lot of that behind the scenes Jeep content I posted on there.
Yeah.
The new camera died, and
We only have one battery.
yeah, we haven't bought any more batteries.
Robin Denman says, just out of curiosity, how much do containers run? Thanks for all you share with us. Love watching your videos. Appreciate it. Containers vary in price a lot. They doubled in price whenever we bought ours because the market went crazy and the whole shipping crisis and all that. They were $4 grand a piece for the high cubes whenever we bought them, but our storage building was only about $2,200,
But it's
so it was
not a
pretty
high
cheap.
cube.
Yeah, it was just a standard 40 foot, and that's all for used containers and delivered.
I'm sure if we would have bought brand new, pretty, undented containers, it would have been
a lot
a
more,
lot
for sure.
more money. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, all right, we have a lot to do. Bye-bye.
Yep, let's go to the store.
Yeah, we only get one life, I wanna make it count.